So I thought I'd finally make that video on my portable TVs. I guess in total I have about 5. So today we're going to be demoing each one because I don't really want to give each one its own video. And I also wanted to kind of see the difference in quality for each one. And this is a Casio TV-430 color TV LCD portable. So this type of portable TV was kind of popular in the 80s and probably 90s. These were still very good for when we still had analog signal TV. Now everything's digital, so these are kind of basically obsolete. I ended up getting this for like around $5 shipped from a seller, I don't know, somewhere in Texas or something like that. But it was in really good shape. It's really clean, and it still works. And the way I'm going to make this work today, pretty much the way I'm going to make all these other TVs work, is by connecting them to a DTV tuner. So we will see what the quality is here. This is one of my most recent pickups. I didn't make a video about this, but this is a Memorex TV. I don't know if I can see a model number here. It's a MT0500. So this TV does have an AV out, and it's quite useful. However, when I bought this, it was not tested because I did not have anything to plug it with. When I brought it home, I plugged it in and I used this AV port, and it was very staticky. The picture quality wasn't too bad, but the sound was just terrible. I mean, this is probably only usable if you're able to attach some headphones onto there, and I don't even know if the headphones make any noise. We'll probably test that out right now, but this is probably like my least favorite of all the TVs that I've gotten recently, because it's just a staticky mess, and we're gonna see that in a minute. The next one, I bought this probably back in February. This is an Artstar color portable TV. Sorry, I didn't mention that. This TV is black and white. So this TV isn't sold, or at least wasn't sold in the States, and I can tell because it's either Chinese or Korean writing on it. And so I've figured out that this is to turn it on, and I think this is to adjust the volume, and I think that the channels and the menu. But this one, the picture's okay, but again, the problem is the sound. The sound comes off as very, very low, barely can be heard. So it doesn't have the best quality sound. I did try to use something with higher amps, and it just made the sound very noisy and very distorted. So we're basically just going to run this on 12 volts and about 900 milliamps, and you'll be able to get the best sound there, because if I put something higher, it'll probably come out very distorted. So that's what we're going to do with this one. This one actually takes quite a high voltage, and this is black and white TV. This is the one that I mentioned that was originally like a black and white security monitor. And this one actually has a decent picture. The sound is okay. The only thing that I did notice is the picture is a little bit unstable, and we'll see what I mean by that. But there is a little bit of instability on there. But I think out of comparing this one to this one, I mean, this one is much better, and especially because it already has the AV outs. And then at the very top, and I would probably say this is the best TV that I own, the best portable. This is a color monitor action. And it's actually a very nice portable TV because it does come with a really good tuner for radio, And the sound is really good on this one. The picture's really good on this one. And I just like aesthetically, I think it's just a nicer one. It is a bit bigger, but definitely a nicer picture. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hook it all up to this old digital stream DTV tuner. And the advantage to having one of these is that you get your AV outs, but you can also use an analog RF out. So I mean, this will be perfect so that we're able to try out each TV and kind of see what it looks like. So we'll start off with the Casio. I just wanted to kind of show you a side view and a back view of this. This is it's got does not have any AV in, so you only get your VHF and UHF and your off switch. There's the volume, the brightness adjustment, and then you got some adjustment. Let me see if I can just move this antenna out of the way. So you also have an adjustment for the color and tint. This is not a CRT. This is actually an LCD monitor. So look at that. And then what I like about this is that when I plug this in, and I'm probably basically going to do is the way I'm going to do that is I plug in the external antenna right there. That's the external antenna. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this coaxial cable, and then I got this little converter here that's basically converts it to the input of the antenna for a portable TV. So I'm gonna put that in there, okay? And then what I like about this is that, so make sure that the light isn't in the way. Okay, what I like about this is that all you gotta do is turn it on, and then by itself it'll find a channel with reception.
The U.S. late Tuesday. The investigation into Fort Hood over what.
And as you can see, I got my remote here so I can just change the channel. Okay.
This document basically meant either pay up or you're not going to be able to keep your home.
Right. One of the neighbors decided to open up a GoFundMe page.
So this is quite a nice little portable TV. It's unfortunate that you really we don't have analog TV anymore, so it's impossible to use this without having it plugged into something like this. I know online there's rigs that people have set up so that they can get an RF signal from their homes. I've actually tried that before, and I have not been successful in getting portable TVs like this working on that. So if I end up feeling like watching TV out of something this small, I probably would just connect it directly to the AV, to the DVR, to the DTV, to the DTV. Okay, let's go ahead and have a look at the next TV. Okay, so now we have the Memorex hooked up. We're going to try those AV outs. So I bought this cable that's supposed to be kind of like a 3-input conversion into these type of AV jacks. And what ended up happening is I do get a picture. Let me see if I can show that right now. So I do get a picture, as you can see here, black and white. But notice that I don't even have a sound input into the TV, and I get this. So notice I get a lot of distortion even though I don't even have any sound plugged in, and then once I plug in the sound, it just gets worse. So I'm not gonna demo this with the sound using the AV plugs. I'm just gonna go ahead and just use RF, and we'll see what kind of signal we get out of that. So as you can see, this is now just hooked up to AV. So I mean to RF. This is just hooked up to RF. So I got my converter there, and with the antenna hooked up, and we're getting a basically a not as good picture, but the sound noise for the most part is gone.
So I can't wait to find out who's going to change my life next.
There's still kind of a buzz, but I just wanted to mention that if you do find TVs in the wild that have this kind of like the single jack for all three inputs, or all the two inputs, since most of these are mono, I would probably skip on it, or I would make sure that out of the store there's no problems with the sound, because I mean, I also noticed that these all these controllers are right next to each other, and I don't know what kind of shielding they might have inside of it. So I could probably assume that because the signal that I'm getting out of the DTV is a lot more powerful than this TV could probably handle, you're going to get a lot of distortion from it. So it'd probably be a better idea to just stay away from something that's like this, and just get something with just normal AV outputs or inputs. So I'm going to go ahead and not suggest that anyone get this type of TV because of that. I mean, it will still work with the RF, but like I mentioned earlier, you still get,
and they'll all know your name.
there's still a bit of a buzz there.
We don't have extra costs. We even give you a new laptop and
then the radio works okay, you know. I mean, let me see if I can show the radio just for a second there.
909-201-7600.
Ya no sé qué hacer, Miguel. El seguro de auto es muy caro. 125 al mes. ¿Cómo voy a comprar un seguro de auto?
So the radio works quite well, you know, but as far as this jack is concerned, I mean, I wouldn't even bother with it because it's not going to work. Okay, so the next TV that we have is this 6-inch color TV. It's branded Artstar. Let me kind of show it from the sides. So this TV does have a headphone jack, which is probably a good thing because you're not going to get a good sound out of these speakers that it comes with. Nothing on the other side. Let's have a quick look at the back. Okay, so the back, you have your standard input, but you also have an output, which is kind of strange. I don't know why they would have an output for this. I mean, unless you were also transmitting it to another TV so that you can see what's on there. I don't know. It's kind of odd that you would have that output, but maybe it was used for security camera as well. I don't know. But and it does, I do have the AV plugged in, but I also have the coaxial antenna plugged in there for the DTV. So we're going to go ahead and check out both to see if the sound's better on one or the other. So as you can see, this I'm going to just turn the sound up a little bit. Actually, just unmute it. So as you can see, the sound is not very good, and actually we get a lot of distortion on the picture. Yeah, the sound is very low. There's some distortion there. It's not really a good TV in my mind. I'm not sure if it has to do with the fact that our current in the States is different. That might be an issue of why this TV doesn't look very good. I'm going to go ahead and try to plug in some headphones to see if the sound's a little bit better there. So I just tried on some headphones. I just got some headphones that I saw had lying around, and I just plugged in to the TV, and the sound is better through that headphone jack. So I would suggest that if you're going to use these type of see if I could turn up the volume, and actually I had to turn down the volume a little bit because it's quite loud. But I could hear the sound even not when my ears aren't on the headphones. I can hear that sound. So the sound here is better. I mean, it is mono, so you're only going to hear it from one side, but definitely could hear the sound a lot better with that headphone jacked in. So I'm not sure if it has to do with the electric current that this is getting as to why we're getting a distorted picture and such a low sound. But I definitely would have to figure out a better way to convert the signal or the voltage so that I can see if I can eliminate that as one of the factors. But which is not one of my priorities because I already have a very good working TV that I'm going to show in a minute. So this more likely will actually be resold somewhere or put away on the shelf because I probably won't won't think that probably won't take the time to try to figure that out. So it finally found the right channel in the RF tuner, and we're basically getting the same kind of interference. Let me see if I can. Yeah, and there's no real way to adjust the TV. Let me see if. I mean, let me see. Yeah, I think that's just like a color balance. Now, there's no real way of me trying to adjust this. Yeah, that's just like a color control. So at this time, I'm just going to say that probably has something to do with the voltage that this TV is getting to why we get so much interference. The sound is basically about the same as it was with the AV from the DTV. So I probably won't go too much into figuring out what's wrong with this, being that I already have a working one. So we're going to go ahead and just move on to the next TV. So this is the security camera that I picked up at the last thrift store haul video that I made. Okay, so this one has like one of these doors that you can pop open, and it actually has two other inputs because you have two jacks for two different signals. So you can change signals. I've set it as C1 because anytime I put it on auto, it kind of goes back between the two inputs, which is kind of a weird thing that this thing does. I mean, these things aren't of the best quality, so I'm not surprised that you would have a problem with something like this being made. There's not a lot of information about this. Made in China, obviously. And then this is just a view from the back. I mean, it is capable of powering other monitors from what I can see from right there. But I have it hooked up to its own power supply, and that's the AV out, and then those are AV ins. The AV out, I'm assuming if you want to project this on another TV, and then you do have your two inputs, and then there is some controls there for brightness, contrast, and the V-hold. So we won't be trying any RF signal on this because this one doesn't take one at all. You can see it doesn't even have an antenna attached. The sides is just the volume, and I guess this would be some kind of time control for your camera, your security camera, I'm assuming. I really like this little black and white TV just because you don't have to deal with the interference that you get from an RF tuner. So this one is just kind of straight to the point.
Are charged with child and animal abuse.
Told us that the reason the kid was.
So the picture here is pretty decent. It is a little bit unstable. I don't know if it's because of the output from the DTV being too much for this little TV. So this one, it would probably be like a very good pickup if we're interested in getting one of these little black and white portable TVs. If you have your own RF signal in your house and you want to project a signal to this TV, this one is probably not the one for you because it does not have an RF tuner. But it is perfect if you want to play video games on it, or if you want to plug in some type of device that works on an AV out. So, all right. So this is a keeper, and this is a good one to keep. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next one. So of the lot, I would say that this is probably the best pickup that I made. This is Action brand. Don't know that brand very well, but I know that this TV is a very good, well-built TV. And it's got its on and off switch here. It's got its own tuner for the channels, which is something that I really like. I don't like it when they incorporate. I know that it's usually done for cost, but a lot of companies when they made these TVs, they incorporated the tuner for both the radio signal and the channel signal for the TV, and which sometimes can get you a lot of interference, which is something I don't like. Obviously, this is obsolete, so this would only be needed if you want to plug in some kind of RF signal, AV to RF signal, or if you have your own signal from in your home that you can project onto these portable TVs. On the side, you do have the tuner for the radio, which is separate. And then you do have your adjustment for AM, FM, and TV. You got your controls there. It's got a color, contrast, brightness, and tint, which is very nice. And then it's got your headphone jack. And then you can adjust the different frequencies for the TV tuner. And in the back, obviously you have an input for an external antenna. You have your AVs. You have a switch that allows you, let me see if I can focus that. Okay, you have a switch that allows you to switch between the TV tuner and the AV. And then you have your power jack. And then this is a product of China. The model number is ACN-5503. This is a 5-inch color TV. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and turn it on so we can get the
Closer and closer.
well, this is the AV signal, by the way. So
David, thank you so much. Ian Friedman, I've got a tough one for you. You practice criminal defense in the Cleveland, Ohio area, and if you were on this case, I want to ask you,
so that picture is pretty clean.
The
sound is pretty clear.
Chad Daybell, what would you be doing right?
So I would say that this would be probably like the best portable TV that I would probably use more often. Let me just show you real quick the RF signal. So I'm gonna. Okay, so that is the AV. That's the RF. So it is a little bit more distorted or noise. It's got a little bit more noise, but that is an RF signal. But the volume's still okay.
Of course, we're going to be waiting for the forensics, for the pathology, for all of the cellular and digital forensics. It's going to be a good...
But obviously, you're going to get a cleaner picture with the AV. I also wanted to demonstrate the radio, so we're going to go ahead and just switch that over to FM. And then I'll go ahead and turn it on.
This was a huge hit movie that spawned 2 sequels. 4 friends go to Vegas for a bachelor party, and Mike Tyson's tiger gets stolen. Not good. The name of that movie is A, The Hangover.
So this radio works perfectly as well.
844-42 prize. Get it right and you'll be our guest on 2 great getaways.
Okay, so here are my final thoughts. I think it all comes down to preference. And what I mean is, if you want the very best that you can get out of a portable 80s type of TV, and you want that vintage feel, I would always go with something like this. This is super well made. They just put a little bit more effort to make this product better, and I would probably go with this. I mean, you get the color display, you get your tuners separate, which is a very good thing for these portable TVs, because when they're incorporated together, they tend to have some interference. This one clearly has a better sound. We tried the AV, and it had a very good sound, a very good picture. We tried the RF. It was still okay. It had a little bit of noise in the picture, but the sound was still very good. And then the radio works very well as well. I mean, I know I didn't demo it, but you get a good reception out of this. So I would probably say that this is ranked to me as the best of all these other types of TVs that you could probably find at Goodwills or thrift stores. Now, if you really want the feel of a black and white TV, a portable black and white TV, then I can't recommend a better one than this one. I mean, I don't know if people like the color white, but the fact that it has these AV inputs and it has those controls, and you don't really have to worry about having to deal with a tuner that might give you interference. I mean, I think this is the best option. The sound was okay. The picture was a little bit unstable, but I mean, it's if you like that kind of feel for a vintage TV that's black and white. I mean, I can't recommend a better one than this one. It's a very clean TV, and I mean, it has like the bare minimum, but it definitely gave us a better picture than this one right here. So that would be the one that I would recommend. Now, if I wanted something different from a big TV, then this is also a very good TV to have, this little LCD. The only drawback to this is that it does not come with that AV out, so you're only going to be able to use this with an RF signal. If you are of the people that have that signal in your home and you can transmit some type of video via that way, then I guess you would be fine with this, because you know it is very small and portable. The only problem though is that not a lot of us have, I mean, I haven't been able to really figure out how to do that right without getting a lot of interference. So if it works for you, great. I mean, if it doesn't, but I would recommend it if you do come across some of these, that you get one that does have that AV input. The picture on this was actually kind of nice. I mean, it wasn't too bad at all. It is very small, but you know, this is what you get for some technology that came from the 80s. So, but this one isn't too bad. Now at the bottom, this one, I think the only thing that has going for it is that it is a 6-inch TV. But for whatever reason, I mean, maybe it might be the current that I'm using that's giving us a really bad picture or very low volume. I couldn't recommend this product unless you knew a way of making this work. I would probably strongly suggest that you skip this one if you come across it, unless you know how to make it work for you. I think the only thing that was good about it was that it did have that jack, so that you could potentially put in some headphones, but you're only going to get sound out of one side. So I don't know if that's because it's mono. Probably is, but I can't really recommend this one. And then one that I would definitely recommend you skip over is this one, because although it has that AV, and this is actually the reason why it attracted me to get this, this is a very lousy port. I mean, you're not going to get very good sound. I think, if anything, if you want this to work, you're going to have to use that RF input, and already there, you're not going to get a good picture, and definitely the sound is not going to be very good either. So I would probably recommend that you skip over this, unless there are ones that have that AV out in the back that's away from those controls, and that might actually be a better one to use. But I probably would skip over if I saw this particular model. Luckily, it didn't cost me a lot of money. I mean, I think it was only like $4.99 or something like that. So, but I would skip over this one, because it's probably not even worth your time. I mean, it's black and white, and you know, you're probably going to have problems because of that input. So that is basically it for my portable TVs. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you learned something about whether or not you'd like to get into the hobby of getting these type of TVs. Leave some comments or a thumbs up or thumbs down if you enjoyed my video. If you'd like to subscribe, please do so. I appreciate you watching my videos, and have a wonderful day.